Today, we're going to talk about how the economy and the stock market are related. We're joined by Dr. Happy again today.
Today, we will talk about the connection between economic growth and stocks. Also, let's find out if stock prices really go down when the economy declines. Let's look at Turkey. The Turkish economy has been doing well recently. However, as you know, the country is struggling with high interest rates and a Here is the Turkish exchange rate over the past 10 years. It's incredible. It has risen by 2,000% over the last decade, so anyone who just held on to cash must have had a very difficult time. It's a shocking situation. People who diligently saved their money in Turkey have seen 90% of their assets vanish. It's a massive loss. This chart shows Turkey's interest rates over the last 10 years. The rates have even gone up to over 50%. It is unbelievable. How can people afford such high interest rates? So, how did people in Turkey survive such scary high interest rates? It is the power of assets. Because of high inflation, those who owned assets were able to handle these high rates. This is because asset prices also rose. As a result, people started using the euro or other currencies instead of their own for transactions. So, how did people in Turkey survive such scary high interest rates? It is the power of assets. Because of high inflation, those who owned assets were able to handle these high rates. This is because asset prices also rose. As a result, people started using the euro or other currencies instead of their own for transactions. As a result, the local currency became unpopular. The exchange rate went up, and people who held that currency were pushed into severe poverty.
The government's policy mistakes caused great pain for the people. What is the situation in other countries?
Brazil is another example. Look at the exchange rate here. People in Brazil also suffered a lot because their currency lost its value. You can see that Brazil's exchange rate changes based on the prices of raw materials. However, Brazil is much more stable than Turkey, with exchange rate fluctuations of around 200%. This shows Brazil's base interest rate. Because raw material prices have fallen over the last 10 years, Brazil has not been able to lower its rates. While the US used low interest rates to boost its economy, Brazil struggled with high 10% interest rates. This appears to be a policy meant to keep dollars within the country.
Wow, the US dollar is stronger than all other currencies. I think I need to have some dollars in my portfolio to protect my assets from losing value. Are there any countries that have protected their currency well against the US dollar?
Over the past 10 years, South Korea has kept its exchange rate more stable than most other countries. Between 2010 and 2020, its exchange rate only changed by about 20%. You can see the interest rates here. They are also stable. Unlike other emerging economies, South Korea is one of the few countries that has managed to keep both its exchange rate stable and its interest rates low. This is because South Korea is one of the few countries that has both high exports and low debt.
Wow, looking at the graph, the US dollar has stayed stronger than most other currencies. I also learned that if emerging countries move against the dollar or print money without economic growth, their interest rates can skyrocket. When interest rates are high, ordinary people suffer. Also, to keep interest and exchange rates stable, a country needs a strong economy and strong exports. That's the only way it can manage its interest rate policy freely, right? So, there's a good reason why people say you should always keep dollars as insurance. Since currencies from emerging countries aren't accepted worldwide, the demand for US dollars skyrockets when an economic crisis hits. So, I guess that's why it's recommended to always keep a portion of your portfolio in dollars.